Most people have a very specific image of old money. The mansion. The Rolls Royce. The designer everything. The reality? The truly wealthy families, the ones who've been rich for centuries, often look like they have nothing at all. They drive ordinary cars. They wear unbranded clothes. They live in homes you'd walk past without a second glance. And this is not an accident. It is a strategy. A strategy refined over generations. These are the 7 stealth wealth rules that have helped old money families stay rich, quietly, for centuries. Many old money families prefer to stay out of the spotlight. Not because they have something to hide in the criminal sense, but because, in their view, visibility creates complications. Public attention brings scrutiny. It attracts lawsuits, unwanted business proposals, and sometimes even security risks. It also attracts something more mundane but equally problematic: people who want something from you. This is why you will find families worth hundreds of millions living in homes that are comfortable but not ostentatious. Driving cars that are reliable but not flashy. Wearing clothes that are well-made but unbranded. The goal is not to look poor. The goal is to look unremarkable. If you have substantial wealth, you do not just walk into a bank and ask for a savings account. You build what is called a family office. A family office is essentially a private company whose only purpose is to manage one family's wealth. It handles investments, taxes, legal matters, estate planning, philanthropy, sometimes even hiring household staff and booking travel. The Rockefeller Family Office, established in 1882, is widely considered one of the earliest and most influential examples. It has helped preserve and grow their wealth for more than 7 generations. What makes this powerful is not just the financial expertise. It is the continuity. Most people work with a financial advisor for maybe 20 or 30 years. A family office operates on a timeline, measured in centuries. Every decision is made with multiple future generations in mind. Many people have never heard of family offices, and for the families who use them, that is often the point. This is a sensitive topic, and it is worth addressing with some care. In many long-established wealthy families, marriage has historically been treated as something more than a purely romantic decision. It has also been, in part, a strategic one. The Rothschild banking dynasty is perhaps the most cited example. For generations, marriages were often arranged between cousins or within a carefully defined social and financial circle. The logic was straightforward: keep the wealth consolidated rather than diluted across too many heirs. Now, it is important to note that practices have evolved significantly in the modern era. Many heirs today marry outside these traditional circles entirely. But the underlying principle, that marriage has financial and legal consequences that deserve serious consideration, has not disappeared. Prenuptial agreements, trust structures, and careful estate planning are standard practice. Not because anyone expects divorce, but because when substantial multigenerational wealth is involved, clarity protects everyone. Some newly wealthy individuals spend heavily on luxury consumption. Yachts. Supercars. The latest fashion. And there is nothing inherently wrong with enjoying the fruits of success. But many established wealthy families tend to prioritize something different: assets that hold value over decades and centuries. Land is the classic example. It cannot be created. It does not depreciate. It passes from generation to generation with relative ease. Art, historically significant furniture, precious metals, timberland, commercial real estate. These are the kinds of holdings that appear again and again in old money portfolios. The reasoning is twofold. First, these assets tend to be less volatile than stocks or cryptocurrencies. Second, and perhaps more importantly, they are harder to liquidate impulsively. A share of stock can be sold in seconds. A piece of farmland takes months. That friction is, in some cases, intentional. It protects wealth from emotional decision-making. For many wealthy families, education is not just about academic achievement. It serves at least 3 functions simultaneously. First, it builds competence. Managing substantial wealth across generations requires financial literacy, legal knowledge, and strategic thinking that most people never learn. Second, it builds networks. The schools and universities these families often attend, Institutions like Eton, Harvard, Sciences PA, are not just places of learning. They are environments where future business partners, political allies, and social connections are formed. Third, it builds identity. When children from wealthy families are educated together, they absorb shared values, shared expectations, and a shared understanding of what their wealth is supposed to accomplish. This is why many old money families start financial education remarkably early. Not with spreadsheets and stock tickers at age 7, but with gradual exposure to the concepts of stewardship, responsibility, and long-term thinking. Most people think about money on a timeline of months or years. Save for a house. Plan for retirement. Get through the next quarter. Many old money families tend to think in generations. This is not a metaphor. Some families maintain formal documents, sometimes called a family constitution, that outline the values, governance structures, and decision-making processes meant to guide the family for the next century. The Pritzker family, known for the Hyatt hotel chain, has used multi-generational trust structures to preserve wealth across dozens of heirs. The principle is simple in theory but difficult in practice. Every financial decision must be evaluated not by what it achieves this year, but by what it means for the family 50 or 100 years from now. This mindset changes everything. Short-term market volatility becomes background noise. Flashy investment opportunities lose their appeal. The goal is not to maximize returns this decade. The goal is to ensure the wealth still exists, and is still productive, a century from now. Wealthy families engage in philanthropy for a variety of reasons. Some genuinely want to make a difference. Others see it as a legacy-building tool. And for some, it serves a practical purpose in wealth preservation. In the United States, charitable foundations offer significant tax advantages. The Rockefeller Foundation, the Carnegie Corporation, the Gates Foundation, these are not just vehicles for generosity. In many cases, they are also sophisticated financial structures that allow families to maintain indirect control over assets while receiving substantial tax benefits. Some wealthy families prefer anonymous philanthropy, donating through donor-advised funds or intermediaries that shield their identity. Others support highly visible institutions, placing the family name on hospital wings, university buildings, and museum galleries. The approach varies. But the underlying pattern is consistent. Giving is rarely accidental. It is typically structured, intentional, and integrated into the broader wealth preservation strategy. None of these rules exist in a written manual. You will not find them published by any family office or taught in any business school. They have been refined over generations through trial, error, observation, and adaptation. What ties them all together is a single underlying philosophy: visible wealth attracts attention. Invisible wealth attracts options. The families who have mastered these rules understand something that most people never consider. Wealth is not just about how much you have. It is about how long you can keep it, and how quietly you can pass it on.